Hello, this is Karen and Bella's presentation about Desiree's baby, and we have chosen to focus on 4 analysis points, and I have chosen to focus on person characteristics and the relationship between Amand and Desiree. I will start talking about Desiree. Desiree is the main character in the story. Desiree has been found by a French couple called Monsieur and Madame Valmont. They considered her as a gift from God because Madame Valmont was incapable of bearing a child. Desiree is also described as pure perfection in the text, for the girl grew to be beautiful and gentle, affectionate and sincere. Desiree seems girly, and her happiness depends on superficial things, and this is shown in this quote where she tells her mom about her child. "I knew you would be astonished, loved Desiree, at the way he has grown, the little cocon de la. Look at his legs, Mama, and his hands and fingernails. Real fingernails. Sandrine had to cut them this morning. Isn't it true, Sandrine?" This way of acting could be caused by that her parents appreciate her, and therefore maybe she has been spoiled as a child. But it can also be because she is married to a rich man, Amand. Desiree is very insecure. This is, for example, shown when she senses that something is wrong with Amand. And I have an example from the text. "Amand," she called to him, in a voice which must have stabbed him if he was human. But he did not notice. "Amand," she said again. Then she rose and tottered towards him. Desiree is scared that her perfect picture of happiness will break, and that makes her insecure, as this quote tells. "I'm so happy it frightens me." When Amand doesn't believe that she is white, this fear becomes reality to her, and Desiree reacts very dramatically. "I shall die, I must die, I cannot be so unhappy and live." This witness about her insecurity and emotionality. Amand is the husband of Desiree. He seems very traditional and old-fashioned. This is, for example, shown in this quote where Desiree speaks to Madame Valmont about Amand's opinion about their child. "Oh, Amand is the proudest father in the parish, I believe, chiefly because it's a boy to bear his name, though he says not that he would have loved the girl as well." Amand is described as a hard and cold man who is emotionally distanced, but Desiree and the baby have melted his heart. This is, for example, shown in this quote, but Amand's dark, handsome face had not often been disfigured by thrones since the day he fell in love with her. But what goes around comes around. The love is not strong enough to cover the traditional and cold-hearted man. Amand thinks Desiree has some black blood in her because of their baby's skin color, and he treats her with great coldness and contempt. This is shown when Desiree, in desperation, tries to convince him that she is white. As white as La Blanche, she returned cruelly and went away, leaving her alone with that child. Amand and Desiree have an uneven relationship, and I want to talk about that now. This is especially shown when Amand tells her to go. Amand has treated her horribly, but still she asks him his opinion and hopes that he will tell her to come back. "Do you want me to go?" "Yes, I want you to go." She turned away like one stunned by a blow and walked slowly towards the door, hoping he would call her back. This tells us that Amand has all the power and Desiree is inferior in the relationship. This is not unusual at the time, and nor is racism.
Desiree and Amand's relationship has a big impact on the themes. To further with the gender aspect, this is also a theme that is shown a lot in the short story. Desiree tries to deny Amand's allegations about her race, which Karen also came on in her characterization. But in the end, she accepts Armand's wishes for her to leave, and this is because of his position and gender. She cannot change his mind, and even though he is strict towards her, she always finds the good in him. The couple contrast each other especially when it comes to the last argument. Do you want me to go? Yes, I want you to go. Armand is straightforward and seems to have no regret about the situation, while Desiree is uncertain and does not want to go willingly. Gender roles are a very normal part of this time, and a black woman would be beneath a white man if they were together, just like a white woman would be, and it would be less embarrassing than had it been of a white woman with a black man, because then the black man would be above the white woman, which would mess with the racial hierarchy. So therefore, Armand denies the allegations of him being somewhat of the mixed race, and the only possible outcome from this is that Desiree is half black, because then it wouldn't be as embarrassing for him or his family's name. Also, racism is a big theme, and the main conflict centers around Desiree's purposely mixed race background. Her husband, Armand, has an inner hatred towards the black race and finds that he cannot be with Desiree since she supposedly is the reason that the baby is black. But as it turns out, it's actually him that's a mixed race person. So the fear that his wife is mixed race before he finds out about himself leads him to believe that marrying her and having a baby with her was a mistake, and that this could ruin the family's name. Quote, he thought Almighty God had dealt cruelly and unjustly with him, and felt somehow that he was paying him back in kind when he stabbed thus in his wife's soul. Moreover, he no longer loved her because of the unconscious injury she had brought upon his home and his name. End quote. He does not want to believe her when she insists that she is indeed white, and therefore abandons her. Nothing is able to convince him that he is the person with the black heritage until he finds a letter from his mother, and he is so filled with hatred towards black people that he does not want to think that he could be a part of this race. And there's also the one-drop rule, which it could be put in perspective of this short story, because the one-drop rule is when a person has an ancestor or more ancestors of sub-Saharan African ancestry, and this would be considered to mean that the person would be black because of the black blood, and therefore this rule can be seen in the sense of racism in the text. Even if you do not look black, you could still be considered black if you had a part of black in yourself. This is a big point of no return for Armand, because he does really have a big hatred towards black people. And to conclude on the themes, you could put them next to each other, because not only is he accusing her of being a black woman, it's also that she's a woman. So, like, she would be even more beneath him, and for her to also talk back to him is kind of a problem, because Desiree does not just stay quiet through the argument. She shows a different type of narrative for the married wife of a white man. So she argues with Armand, and this is not good for their relationship, and it's not something that he weighs highly when thinking about what race or gender that she is. This is also the central outer structure conflict that we see in the short story between Armand and Desiree, because they have this huge argument about the baby and the accusations of being black, and the short story structure revolves around these inner and outer conflicts. So these conflicts are found in the different characters. Just as I said about the outer conflict, there are also inner conflicts, such as Desiree realizing that our baby is not white, and she therefore has an inner conflict with herself to try and justify the baby's existence. Quote, Desiree's eyes had been fixed absently and sadly upon the baby, while she was striving to penetrate the threatening mist that she felt closing about her. She looked from her child to the boy who stood beside him and back again, over and over. Ah, it was a cry that she could not help, which she was not conscious of having uttered. The blood turned like ice in her veins, and a clammy moisture gathered upon her face. End quote. She is not the only one having inner conflicts. Madame Valmont also has inner conflicts based on the child's appearance, and she does not know she should tell Desiree before she finds out for herself that the baby is mixed race. And the final and point of no return for Armand's in the conflict is when he finds out that he's actually the one that's mixed race, and he sends his wife away for thinking that she's a mixed race when he actually was. So this use of inner and outer conflicts help the structure of the story, so that you can figure out how the different people perceive their own lives and how they are towards other people, or how it's kind of ironic that they turn out to be what they hate the most.